be asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Pen and Presents. I'm here today with Dr. Rosina Bakari, and she and I are going to be speaking about the art of cultivating healthy relationships. Actually, it's Dr. Bakari that's going to be educating me. So, welcome.
Hello, it's good to be here. Thank you so much. I appreciate the platform and opportunity to
Thank
have such
you.
a valuable discussion.
Thank you. So, how have you been doing through this pandemic? How has it been for you personally, like with business and just all that's going on? I know there's a lot of mental health issues that have come about because of this pandemic. How have you been coping through everything?
Thank you for asking that. It's been going pretty good for me, I have to admit. And I live in a household where there's three adults, and so one, that's good because we keep each other company. We don't
Yes,
have little people to worry about, can they do
yes,
this or can they do that? So I've been in really good company, and we've all been taking really good care of ourselves and taking care of each other. So I don't have a whole lot of complaints. However, I did move in the middle of this pandemic,
oh,
and moved to New York,
wow.
close to New York City. And so people have been really cautious here, right?
Hmm.
Rightfully so. And so I will say that this is the longest I've ever gone without making lots of friends. So that
Yeah,
has been a challenge. That has been a
yeah,
challenge. I can't say that I really know people. I'm getting familiar with some neighbor faces where we're saying hello and that sort of stuff, but
yeah,
that's been a little bit tricky. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we have it's three of us in our household, and we have one little one. She's 9, and I have to say she's actually been holding up okay. It's still hard for her because the kids are used to going out making friends, and she's been
Yep.
homeschooled this whole time. So yeah, it's rough.
Yes,
We got
yes.
to entertain her, and it gets
Yeah.
tiring.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you want everybody to be safe at the same time. So
Exactly, exactly. So your book, you have 6 books.
I do. I do. But I must say, this book is the only bestseller. So
I saw that.
Amazon
Yeah,
bestseller. So I'm super excited about it. I literally think that it has the ability to change lives.
it does.
So in ways that the other books can or
Mhm.
could, but this really or but couldn't necessarily reach everybody. I
Mhm.
think for real, this is a book that has something in it for everyone.
Yes.
So, yeah, especially during this time.
Yes. So what can you educate us about um cultivating healthy relationships? I think
Yes.
I think that is so needed right now with everybody kind of really getting to actually a lot of people did not really know the people they lived with before the pandemic. Then the pandemic
Facts,
hit and it was like an eye opener like this is who I live
facts, facts. Yes, yes.
with.
Spouses, children,
Yeah.
parents. I didn't know you felt this way. I didn't know this is what you did with your spare time. I didn't know this is how cranky you got when you didn't have time alone.
Right?
Facts,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot that we could learn about each other when we're cooped up. So yeah. Um, so one of the things that's important to discuss, I think, why is the book called relationships, in terms of healing? And that's because oftentimes the quality of our lives is determined by relationships. And I want to clarify that because too many people mistake that for meaning I have to be in a love relationship to be happy. No, 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 no,
Right.
no. That's not,
Right.
I hope that's not the case. For some people it is, but that's not the case. I'm not talking about just love relationships. People
Mhm.
forget that all of our relationships really take compromise and investment Work relationships should be healthy relationships.
That's true.
Friendships should be healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Our children and parents should be healthy relationships. And oftentimes we over focus on our love relationships to feed us. And we do it at the neglect of really investing in quality behaviors that produce healthy relationships, conflict free relationships, because conflict gets resolved in a healthy way
Right.
everywhere we go. And
Right.
so that's important. When we see our relationships break down, then often that's when we realize something else is going on inside of us that we finally need to address. So that's why it's called the Healing Journey Relationships and Wellness Guide, because unfortunately, sometimes that's the only time that we will admit that something needs to change.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So I know, like, oh gosh, there's so much to unpack because it's true what you're saying. Like, it's not just about a romantic relationship. It's all these, and it does. And we focus so much on our romantic relationship that we neglect our other relationships, and then
Yeah.
we end up paying for it later on down the road.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. One of
So go ahead.
one of the things that happens is that puts so much weight on our romantic relationships, and it is actually one of the things that causes romantic relationships to fail, because we put all our eggs in one basket, and the person that we are in a relationship with didn't sign up for that. Like,
Mm-mm.
sometimes I hear people, and you see it too, we all see it. I want a person who listens and spends times with me and cares and likes this and likes that and is ready to receive me when I come. I'm like, you need a puppy, not a you. Like, you describing a puppy. Like, go get a puppy, right?
Yeah.
And so while we should all have standards in our relationships, when we set all these expectations for what this person is going to be and do, we don't leave much room for someone to come in our lives as they are. We don't know what they really bring, because
Mhm.
we already have this list of who they must be to come into our lives.
Mm.
And so we don't really get to see who they fully are.
That's
And
true.
that could be good or bad. You know,
That's
if
true.
if if you want someone that just comes home and tells you how beautiful you are every day, when you get that, because that's easy to give to a person, it may
Mhm.
be 6 months before you realize, oh, this person doesn't like working. We don't have bills paid. Well, we don't have money to go on a date, but
Yeah.
they gave you what you said you absolutely had to have, with someone who comes and gives you attention,
Yes.
right? And so when we get that one thing, we forget what the long-term effects may be of what our list brought to us.
That is, and that's something that kind of always aggravates me when I'll hear people say, "Oh, I broke up with him because he's working all the time. He doesn't pay no attention to me." I'm like, the bills are coming all the time. So
Right.
yeah, those bills don't stop
Right.
coming. I don't know if you noticed.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
and they go and they leave him for someone who will, like you said, you know, and then their bills aren't paid. That
Right.
nothing's getting done, so they're not moving forward. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's very important to bring up. I hear that a lot, and it's one of my pet peeves when I hear that. I'm like, stop,
Right.
stop.
So the piece about it is that we don't, again, we put all our eggs in the basket. We don't realize that there are so, if you have this desire to be cuddled and told you're beautiful or you're smart or whatever, you can get that.
Yes.
That doesn't have to come by way of your significant other, who
Mhm.
may have all of these other wonderful qualities that contribute to your life. Now, it's one thing if you have someone who's not contributing, but no one gets 100% of what they want.
No.
Every relationship is a compromise,
That's
and you have to and so sometimes we compromise in places that satisfy us temporarily, but not
Mhm.
in the long run. So
Mm.
we have to really begin to understand what makes for high quality long-term relationships. Spending time together is not a contributor to long-term relationships.
That's true.
It may be for short term, but you have to know how to get from that 6 month period where we present our representative, as we say. This
Mm-hmm.
is who we represent to represent to start this relationship. But you have to know how to get into those things that sustain something from 6 months to 6 years, from
Right.
6 years to the next 26 years. There, you need something different at every stage of the relationship, and you have to know how to cultivate within yourself what your personal needs are,
Mm-hmm.
separate from what it is that you think this person is supposed to bring into your life. Because at the end of the day, in successful relationships,
Mm-hmm.
people become more business partners than anything else.
That's true.
And
Wow.
so if all you're thinking about is how much somebody's going to tell you they love you and care about you and buy you nice things, then that may have a time limit on it.
Mm-hmm. It gets old after a while.
Whether you want it to or not. It
Yeah.
does.
So there's
And
something
and
that
not
you,
that those things go away. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong. People
Mm-hmm.
who stay or whose marriages are sustained, and I've been married for 30 years. Those things there, they're absolutely still there, but
Yeah.
not the dominant feature in those relationships.
Right. Right. So it becomes kind of like a which, and I mean, is it bad when people say like, well, this is my best friend? I always felt like that was a good thing to have, to be married to your best friend. But is it a bad thing? Is there any way that that could be negative, or I
Oh,
don't
I think that's wonderful if someone's your best friend. Like I want my best friends, like I have a best friend who is helping me out in business.
mhm,
Absolutely. I have a best friend that I'm married to. Absolutely. I think that you have to cultivate those relationships. And so if you think about it like that, I think that attitude should take pressure off of the
right,
relationship, not
right,
put it on the relationship. Because when you recognize someone as your friend, then that means that you are willing to see that person as they are, and there's an exchange of need fulfillment there. You're not
mhm,
trying to be a friend, is not a mother,
right,
right? Mother qualities come, they look a little bit different. A friend is not a domestic worker,
right,
right? That's
yeah,
something
yeah,
different. And so a friend means I'm willing to show up and hold space for you as you are. And so I
mhm,
think that piece is critical. And yeah, business partners are definitely friends. You don't see
yeah,
people going into business with people they
you don't
hate. They
like,
may do a business deal to make money, but
yeah,
in terms of being, business partners, when you say that, then yeah, you want someone that in some ways care about the same things. You enjoy some similar experiences, et cetera, et cetera. This is a person you don't mind being in a room with and sharing time with, and you can do that without heavy expectations about what you have to be when I'm in your company.
that's true. So my other question is, with cultivating healthy relationships, just like, let's just say like within the households with this whole pandemic. So now there are parents who are realizing, they've been working, and they're coming home. Now they're working from home, and the kids are home, and they're realizing like they don't really know their kids as well as they thought they did. Like,
Yep.
what are good things for them to do to start rebuilding and getting to know their kids all over again? Because kids, their personalities do change. I mean, they have their core personality, but they do develop and they change, and they absorb certain things, and they watch us. They
Yes,
watch us and they learn a lot.
they
So,
do.
yeah, how can parents make sure that they have a healthy relationship with their children?
There's a lot of ways that people can do that depending on what their lifestyle is.
Mhm.
So I'm a little hesitant to say do this, do that, because if your
Right.
lifestyle doesn't fit that. But what I will suggest, generally speaking, if it resonates with people, oftentimes, especially sometimes in certain communities, um, we have been told or taught to control our children.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
if you control your children, nobody wants to be controlled. We don't want to be controlled. Children don't want to be controlled either. And
Yeah.
especially the older they get, the less they want to be controlled.
That's
And
true.
so if you control your children, then it's difficult to cultivate a relationship with them that
Right.
where that open relationship with them. You will always only have an authoritative relationship with them, one of
Mhm.
policing, right?
Mhm.
One of control, one of dominance. And so you can't cultivate that type of relationship and want to have a healthy relationship where they're coming to you with their problems or concerns or sharing their joys, that sort of stuff. So if
Yeah.
you find that you are finding out information about your child that you didn't know, you're finding that information out some other ways, maybe in church or on the street or the neighbors or on social media, then
Mhm.
then that then that means there's an opportunity for you to open up space for, and this is the tricky part, for you to follow your child instead of trying to turn your child around and get them to follow you. Right. So
Mm.
oftentimes we're like, okay, well, you're going to come shopping with me, or you're going to come to church with me, or you're going to do this with me. You're going to go to the gym with me. And that's how we're going to bond. And
Right.
so we try to oftentimes bring children into our worlds instead of us following
Into there.
into children's worlds. And
Right.
so, and sometimes they don't, if they don't want us there, then that means respecting their space where they don't want us there, and trying to shift some things around in our lives where they can rely on us. So for, and you have to watch and be really keen in this. Why don't they want you there? Do they not want you there because they see you as that embarrassing mom that's going to be, yeah, yeah? Or do they not want you there? This is important because they don't want your inconsistency. Oftentimes,
Mm.
children reject inconsistency. And so
Wow.
they would rather, to protect themselves, not have any of you than to have inconsistency or unreliability. And so
Wow, that
just
is
try
true.
to pay attention because they can't articulate these things. They're not going to
Yeah.
articulate, well, parent, I don't want you to show up because I have a difficult time tolerating your inconsistencies. They're never going to say
Yeah.
that. So you have to watch them and see what it is they're responding to in you, and and take your ego out of the parenting,
Mhm.
and see and try on new ways to shift and see what it is that they respond to, because not all children are going to respond to the same thing. But it really requires you giving up power as a
Mhm.
parent and leaning into a parenting style that's more authoritative,
That's what.
not
Mhm.
authoritarian, there's more and so that you can create space for your child to lead and they can feel empowered. If we want our children to feel empowered in the world, one of the easiest ways to do that is give them power in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wow. Didn't look at it that way, and you know what? That was very true. I didn't even realize that's how I felt growing up. I went through the
Mhm.
same similar thing. So I didn't realize. I just knew that. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna call my mom.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. The
Right.
other thing, what about like adults dealing with toxic parents, toxic relatives
Yeah.
in their lives? How is it bad to say cut them? I know the thing is he's like, oh, just cut them off. But for some people, that's not easy. It's not easy to just cut off, even though they're toxic.
Right. It is not easy. It is one of the most difficult things that most people do who do it. Those of us who do it, and I've had to do that as well,
Mhm.
we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's necessary.
Yeah,
And so at some point, you have to figure out and take responsibility for the choices that you make and the consequences that follow. Most of us do it because we get to a point where not doing it just hurts too much.
yeah,
And so when
yeah,
not doing it hurts more than doing it, you do it.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's
Right?
true.
And
And it's hard. It's
so
painful, but yeah.
it is really difficult. But here's the thing, like Everyone gets to design, every adult gets to design their own life. And once you recognize and take responsibility for designing your own life, however that looks for you, it looks for you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really, in some ways, nobody else's business. If that requires you to get a divorce to design a life that you feel like you deserve, then get a divorce. Is it ideal? No. Are there a lot of consequences to it? Absolutely. But if you are certain that getting this divorce is going to move you closer to the life that you deserve, a life of peace, not you deserve, anybody deserve a
Yeah.
life of peace. I'm not talking about I want a divorce so I can have more money, but no, we all deserve peace. We all deserve some consistency and continuity in our lives in terms of safety, in terms of resources, that sort of and in terms of building trust within ourselves and the world. So when I say a life that you deserve, I'm not talking about materialistic things. I'm talking about a sense of internal peace and
Mm-hmm.
comfort and the ability to move in autonomous ways in the world without feeling encumbered that we have someone in our lives that's blocking us because we have to take care of them in ways that we should not have to take care of them, that we have to lie about our relationship, our history, our past, all of that stuff, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so once we accept that we get to make choices, then we make those choices, and then we're willing to live with the consequences, with the understanding that the consequences are not as long term as the
Mm.
consequences of staying in these relationships. Doesn't matter if they're your children, if they're your birth family, if they're the family you married into. You have a right to invite people into your life and out of your life,
Right.
because you deserve to have the life that you want. And if you
Yeah.
choose to keep people into your life, in your life, for whatever reason, it's also not an in or out. Most of us who have chosen to go no contact, have no contact with our families, many of us do it in progressions. We stop spending holidays.
Yeah.
However you do that,
Yeah.
if you need to lie and say you got to work that day, lie and say you got to work that day. Do what you
Yeah.
need to do with the in a way that allows you to sleep at night and have the
Mm.
most peace. So most of us do it in increments. We stop spending holidays. Then we stop with the invitations. We slow down and we wean ourselves out of it.
Right.
Then other people just say, "Nope, you've been so horribly toxic. I just have to cut you out all at once." There's no
Mm-hmm.
right way to do it. Again,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who you are and what your situation is, what that toxicity is bringing into your life currently. But just know that no one deserves to be in your life just because they managed to be there, just because they
Right.
were born there, just because you married. No, you get to design your life. You get to design the exact life that you want, so
Mm-hmm.
that when you say, "This is the life that I have," you know it's a life that you created for yourself and did not settle for a life that you inherited.
Right. Wow. And that makes me also leads me to ask this question. I'm going to ask it for both, men and women, but for specifically young women, what traits should they be looking for in a man? And and I'm because I don't think I know I wasn't thinking. But what traits should we be looking? This is good advice for me. Advice I wish I've gotten. That what traits should I be looking for in a man, not just as a husband, but as a father. This is
Yep.
we're going to create a family together. What traits should a
Yes.
young woman be looking for? And I'm going to ask the same for the men. But
Yes, I think the answer is the same whether you're a man or a woman. So that's
Mhm.
good. I don't think the answer changes based on gender.
Okay.
I would say most important above all is morality.
Mm.
Find a human being, a partner who
Mhm.
is morally sound. And that
Mm.
should be a no-brainer, but is not.
It's
A
not.
lot
Yeah.
of us end up with shady people, and they were shady when we met them. We knew they were shady. We might have met them at a shady place, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. This is true. Save you
So
some heartbreak.
yes, yes. So that's a setup right there. If you accept someone in your life who is shady on any level, they're and and look out for the little shadiness. I mean, it doesn't have to be, oh, they're selling drugs or stealing cars. No, but they're doing things at work that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And maybe their excuse to do it is that they're bringing you a gift, or they're doing some, they're taking you on joy rides or weekends on company time, right?
Yeah.
That's shady. It's
That's
shady, and
shady.
it can come back and bite you. And here's the thing: if they are shady in other aspects of their lives, chances are they're going to be a little shady in relationship with you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That
shady
makes
is
sense.
shady. So I would say, first and foremost, look out for the shady tendencies. Okay.
Mm.
Shady with money,
Mm-hmm.
shady with people. They're not honest with people. When you see people constant, if you're with someone who is constantly letting their friends down, be careful. It's the little things that can cue you in. They're constantly telling their mother they're gonna come over, and they never come over. That's a little
Wow.
shady. Like,
Yeah.
what is, like, ask, like, what's wrong? Have conversations around that. What is happening in your communication with these people or these friends that you're constantly saying you're gonna do something and you never do it? Or people
Yeah.
paid you money and you don't give them the service that you are supposed to deliver to them. So
Mm-hmm.
look for the shady in people. I would say first and foremost, because shady people can mess up your life in more ways than one,
Yeah.
right? And so you
Yeah.
don't want to be caught up in anything shady, including at some point having conversations about what their credit score is. Because if your
Mm.
credit score is in the threes and 400s, what you doing that's shady that got your credit score that low? It may not be in the 800s. So come on, you got
Yeah.
a credit score of 400. You just want to make sure that's nothing shady. Like, if it's
Yeah.
people have issues with money, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have issues with low credit scores. Okay, no problem. I'm saying you want to make sure that's not because someone's using money that's not theirs and never pay it back. That's shady. Count it
Yeah.
as shady. So I'm saying,
Wow.
look for the shadiness in people, right? And you
Wow. Yeah.
decide, so just so that you are aware and you decide, okay, for example, this person has bad credit. Are they working on it? That's
Mm-hmm.
good. Are they
Mm-hmm.
trying to pay it? But if they're like, nah, that's gonna always be like that. Them people ain't getting my money. I shouldn't have paid them. I should never went to that doctor. I didn't want them to do that procedure. Okay, that's a little shady. You got to work something out, because how's that
Yeah.
going to impact you down the road when you and this person are working out bills?
Oh
Or-
yeah. That's gonna be. You're gonna be butting heads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that kind of shady, not just the someone's doing something illegal. Just
Mm-hmm.
shady is often not illegal. It's just shady,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I would say always look for cues about this person's moral compass. Don't assume that because they go to church every Sunday, they have high quality moral compass.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Look for the cues of immorality and shadiness and pay attention to them. So that's the first thing I would say, male or female, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then
I don't know.
assuming that this person is not shady, then what is their reputation on the street, in their community, in their church, in their organizations, at work? What is their reputation? Do they constantly have relationships full of conflict?
Mm.
Because if they have relationships of conflict with everyone else,
They're the
but they get
problem.
along great with you,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
it's a matter of time. It's
Yeah.
a matter of time. And so look at their reputation with the people around them. How easy are they to get along with? If they have a difficult time getting along with everybody else around, chances are eventually they're going to have a difficult time getting along with you. Right. And the
That's true.
same goes for having boundaries. If they don't have boundaries with anyone else, that's going to be cute. That's going to be cute because you're going to get your way for the
Mm-hmm.
first 6 months. You're going to think that's cute. You go, oh, they spoiled me so much. And then you're going to find out, oh, they have no boundaries we have no protection in this unit, in this unity, in this union, because they don't have boundaries with anyone. So every time
Mm.
someone calls, asks, whatever, they're out the door, they're giving money, they're inviting people that shouldn't be in the house. And so you want to look at that.
Yeah.
How are they behaving in ways that could create problems in the union? Not just, what's cute and what makes you feel good right then and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
How is this going to impact the relationship long term? So
Wow.
assuming that they have a high quality moral compass and they have a high quality reputation in terms of how they interact with people, then you want to go for the good stuff. Are they, and this is not me talking, this is research talking. You
Mhm.
love who you love. I don't
Mhm.
care. I'm
Mhm.
saying research shows us there are some big ticket items on the table when it comes to sustaining relationships.
Mhm.
Religion,
Mm.
demographics means, do you both come from wealthy families? Do you come from here? That demographics, religion, age, and race. Just
Mm.
know you don't have to be equal on those things. You don't have to be the same. Just know, to the degree that you have variance in those demographics, it is going to be a strain on that relationship. Do not assume that you're going to love each other through racial tension. Don't
No.
assume that. You better talk about race if you're not the same race. You better have
Yeah.
some conversations,
Yeah.
right?
That's
If
true.
one person comes from money and the other person comes from poverty, you better have some real conversations about money, because you're not going to view it the same way. So where you are coming from different backgrounds, those
Mhm.
require even more extensive conversations to have. Now,
Mhm.
keep in mind that those should not be deal breakers. I'm saying there are conversations that must be had. Too many people think they're going to love their differences away, and it doesn't happen. Doesn't
No.
happen. So just know that in those areas, if you're going to last long term, then more conversation needs to happen. It's going to be more compromise that has to happen in those relationships than in other relationships. Then you go for the fluff stuff. Do you both like to ski? Do you both like outdoor activities? Do you both like, but too often we put the fluff stuff up front.
Yes. Oh
No.
my gosh, yes.
Mm-mm.
And then we
Mm-mm.
get all caught up in the fluff,
Get
and next
caught up
thing
in the fluff.
you're married to somebody you can't stand, and you don't
Right.
understand
Then
what
you're
happened.
smothered. That little
Yeah.
pillow is smothering you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The
Yeah.
fluff stuff goes away. No relationship can sustain the fluff. Kids come in, you don't have time to spend together. Bills get tight. You have to be good problem solvers together when bills are tight. Issues
Mm.
come up in politics, one's on this side, one's on that side, because you never had conversations about where you both come from, what you both think about money, etc. One want to go back and get their PhD, the other want to buy a BMW. What you gonna do? You better
Yeah.
have some of those conversations before you lock that in.
Yeah. Jeez. And it's, oh my gosh, that is so true. We get caught up in the fluff. Don't think
Yeah,
about the
and that's
reality.
why, we say we're building a business together. When you create a union, you're building a business. You're not
Mhm.
building a love nest. You're building a family business. It's your responsibility to move forward as a unit. You have to survive financially.
Mhm.
You have to survive morally, legally. Like, you are tied to each other. But people think to become one, that means that we must think alike. No, that's not what that means. That
No.
means that whatever this person does is going to affect you. That's what to become one means.
That's true.
That's what that means. There are people like, we're one now. You're supposed to be home at 9. No, that's not what that means.
No. No.
That means your credit is my credit. That's what that means.
Yes, and this is what led me. Years ago, I had listened to this one pastor. He passed away now, but he had said that for marriage to work is a contract. First of all, it's a
It's a
contract.
contract.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's not about love. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that they're right for you.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's been difficult for people to grasp. Love is important. Love will help you sustain that contract. I
Mm-hmm.
assure you it will help you sustain that contract, but it's not enough.
No.
And it's not a reason to move forward in a relationship. Love should not be the reason you get married.
Yes.
Love alone.
Mm-hmm.
Love should put you in a position to to evaluate this person for marriage. But
Mm-hmm.
love should not be the reason you get married.
Right.
Love just raises the question. It puts the question on the table. Now
Yes.
that we love each other, what should we do?
Yeah, and the sad truth is you guys may love each other, but it may not work out because of all the other things just not lining up.
Mm-mm.
And I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but what do they do? Do they still just get married? I guess that's where it gets really hard because now they have this relationship. They do love each other, but they're gonna have to either learn how to work it through, or I don't even know if it's worth it. Is it
Right.
worth it? You know?
I think people probably feel like it's worth it, and if they do, they do. Just know that I mean, the divorce rate continues to go up because people continue to try to get married for love. Here's the other real part that we haven't talked about is
Hmm.
that we often look for people to fill our unhealed hearts.
Yeah.
Unhealed hearts make poor decisions. Their unhealed hearts is not hearts are really intelligent until they're unhealed, right? Then we don't make such intelligent decisions and choices. And so oftentimes as soon as someone comes in that looks like it can speak to our wounds or heal or unhealed hearts,
Hmm.
we're all in. And so we start making emotional decisions about our future. Their future is not it's not emotional,
Yeah.
right? And so if we heal those hearts, we go into relationships with eyes wide open. But to the degree that our hearts are unhealed, we become more vulnerable to short-term decisions. We need a
Mm.
healed heart to be really good at long-term decisions. But often unhealed hearts are only looking for temporary decisions or
It's true.
temporary comfort.
It's like they're just looking for a band-aid or something to just
Mhm.
ease the
Yep.
pain.
Yep.
Oh wow. So I had
That's why
another
the healing
question.
journey is so important. The
Yes.
healing journey. The
Yes,
healing
let's
journey.
I'm going to play the 30-second commercial and then let's talk about the healing journey. That is very, very important. So I'm just going to play this real quick and we'll be back. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Okay, so we are back and we are going to talk about the healing journey, which I think is very important, especially right now.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So let's talk about the book. There's two parts, the
Hmm.
book and the healing challenge. So this is the book,
Okay.
The Healing Journey, Relationships and Wellness Guide. And the book is broken up into monthly chapters, January through December. And for each chapter, there's a topic related to wellness, such as self care, such as healing trauma without forgiving the person who caused it, such as
Mm.
how to apologize. That's important in relationships, right? And so there's a topic related to wellness, emotional wellness, relationship wellness every month. And then there's also a self reflection activity that's real important to give us some idea of what some of the issues may be that we didn't even know was
Mhm.
there, right? And
Right.
so, and then there are daily, what I like to refer to as healing invitations or healing gyms. So and so there's 365 days of healing gyms, because one of the things that happens, we have all these great books related to self-help, right? But you read them in a week or a month,
Mm.
and
Okay.
then we go on to the next book. We don't really get time to let it sink in
Absorb.
and soak in. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted something that would help people normalize the healing journey.
Mm.
So we have 365 days where I want people to open up a book and remember, oh, right, I'm on a healing journey. This is what July 12th says. This is what November 5th says. This is something that I can think about and remind myself. So hopefully when you do that for 365 days, it is enough time for the healing process to sink in, because the healing journey is not a task. This is important.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifestyle. And people
Yes.
don't realize that it's not a task. You're never going to put an ED on the end of heal. You're
Mm-hmm.
not healed, you're healing. It's a lifestyle. It's not a task. As we heal, we become less susceptible to malfunction in our decisions, meaning we're less likely to be triggered into making decisions that are not in our best interest,
Wow.
right? And
Yeah.
so that takes practice, and it takes constant reminders, especially when we are in environments that don't necessarily support our best authentic selves. And so we grow into this process of healing. And so the book is designed to help us grow into a lifestyle of healing. It's not
Mm.
designed to heal anyone. You're
Yeah.
not going to have an ED on the end of that in a
Yeah.
year. What you're going to
Yeah.
have is a change of attitude about what it means to live more consciously about the decisions that I make and the person I am always becoming.
Mm.
And so that's what the book is about. And so those chapters are critical. They're also really great conversational pieces. The topics, the articles, they're not long. They're just long enough for you to say, "Hey, April, did you read that? What
Mm.
that month for November? What did you think about that?" And yes, you read it. You read it because it only took you 30 minutes or maybe an hour to read it. And then you have
Right.
the rest of the month to process it along with the daily gems. So it's also really good conversations that we're not accustomed to having, because we've been living in sound bites since social media, right? And so we don't take time to really question what it is that we're listening to. So or what the impact of it is. So this whole idea about forgiveness, for example, everybody thinks it's great to forgive. This chapter says, oh, let's give that a second thought. Can it
Mm-hmm.
be dangerous for you? Let's rethink it. You don't need to agree or disagree with everything that's in a book, but you do need to contemplate it. And you
Mm.
do need to understand that there's different ways of looking at some of the issues that we've been looking at and passing off as culture or mental health, right? And so the
Right.
book offers some, I assure you, some different perspectives than what we've been used to hearing on a topic of wellness. And so that's important. Along with that, change the topic a little bit, that's related. The book is the foundation of the Healing Challenge 2022. And
Okay.
I want people to check out the website, healingchallenge2022.com.
That's the website.
That's the website. Yep.
Okay.
And it's a program, and there is money involved. It's not a lot of money. What's your mental health worth? It's not a lot of money, but I
Yeah.
don't want people to be surprised, right? There's a nominal fee. You can register up to 12 people, for example, for $60. That's the lowest you
Okay.
can get. So it's not like $500 unless you
Yeah.
are a business and want to participate as a business. But the idea is to get people to change the culture of wellness. And so instead of trying to ask people to support people who have mental illness, like, hey, how about we support people to prevent mental illness? How about we focus on wellness? How about we have some conversations about it? And so what I'm trying to get people to do is commit in groups, but you don't have to do that. You can enroll as an individual, but you
Mhm.
can commit is less costly if you do it as a group and say we're going
Okay.
to have some ongoing conversations about wellness throughout the year so that it becomes the thing to do. If we can have a TikTok about how you rock and roll and how you do this move, or we could have these silly challenges about pouring ice on head and what, why can't we have a challenge to heal?
Yeah.
Why can't we? Why can't we
We
challenge
need
people
it.
and say, hey, what did you self-reflect on this month? Hey, did you read? Did you read the healing gem for today? Are you having a hard time keeping up? How come we can't normalize things that are high quality for us and long lasting? Well, I think we can. So that's what the healing challenge is intended to do. Invite everyone into a space of healing that we can normalize wellness so that we, like, how do we stop stigmatizing people with mental illness? By getting everybody involved in wellness. That's how you
Right.
stop stigmatizing those who have mental illness. Because we, right now, as it stands, like, well, the only way you can bring it up is if you have a problem. And then when you have a problem, we identify you as the problem. What if we
Mhm.
all just said we all got our stuff to work on? Some of us have a little more stuff. Some of our stuff is a little more in depth than others. But what if
Mhm.
we all just engage in this healing journey? That's how you destigmatized mental illness, by admitting that we all have some stuff to work on. And so
Right.
it's also designed to do that. And so I want people to sign up for the healing challenge. It goes all year long. And when people say a year is a long time, how long you plan on living?
How long you been mentally sick?
How long you been right? When people say they don't want to work on their mental wellness for a whole year, that's so telling. And that
Yeah.
says something about our need to put an emphasis on wellness,
Yes.
because that statement should never come from someone's mouth.
No, no. No, it's really sad. It's funny, but it's really sad
Right.
because they've been sick for a long time, and I guess they just got used to living with it, so they don't want. And then I know another thing is a lot of people don't like change. Like change scares them.
I don't like change. I don't like change.
Yeah. They're like, no,
That's
I've
why
been
we
I've been
need it.
sick for years. I'm good.
All the things we have to do that we don't like, just add this to the list. But that's
Yeah.
why I really want us to do it in groups with support so that we all can
Right.
talk about how much we don't like it while we do it anyway. It's
Wow.
not a matter of like, what we all like is the outcome. We should
Mhm.
all like that, where we get to support each other becoming our best authentic selves. That's
Yes.
what we want to see show up.
And see, that's the whole thing with the Panda magazine is all about. It's about holistic wellness.
That's why I love
And
it.
yeah, yeah. So I really want people to be whole and healthy.
Yep.
It's I know I like it, and it's not easy. It takes time, but it's worth it. It is worth
Yeah.
it.
And you know what? And I tell you, the one thing that makes it easier is when we know we're not alone. Everybody says that.
Yeah.
Everybody puts that in the post. You are not alone. Well, where are you?
Yeah.
Where? Because no one has texted, no one has
Yep.
called. No, they just put in the post. You are not alone. Really?
Yes. Really? Where
Because
did
no
you come
one's
up from?
talking about this.
Yeah.
No one's. So I want to create a space where people have a way to develop some common language and concepts to sink their teeth in, where when we say you're not alone, we can
You
put something
mean it.
behind it.
Yeah.
Come join us. We're here every month on this podcast. We're here every day on this social media platform. So when I say you're not alone, I want to say hashtag healing challenge 2022. Put that
Right.
behind every statement when you say you're not alone. I don't
Oh, I
want a
love that.
period after that.
Yeah. So so you want it to be in groups? Can it like an individual can still sign up? Are they assigned to
Absolutely.
a
Yep.
group?
We
or
no, they so here's the deal. If you sign up as an individual, then you're paying $50 for one
mhm,
individual again for a whole year. That
mhm.
should not break your bank. You're going to
No.
go out and spend that on dinner tomorrow night, right? And so that's not a deal breaker, I hope. But because so you can register as one person or $60 to register up to 12 people,
Right,
right? And that just says, hey, we're a group and we're doing what you want us to do, which is come together and hold each other accountable in ways that just says, did you read the book? Well, you're not, it's not a therapy group. It's, think of it as a book club. That's
yeah,
the most simplistic way to think of it, because nobody's trying to make anyone into a therapist. That's
right,
not the point at all. We're just trying to raise conversations around issues of wellness. So yes, individuals can absolutely join, and when they do, they have access to the podcast, and more importantly, they have access to those private groups. So the Facebook group and the other offline group, they're gonna be only open to people who are actually following or
right.
registered to follow the healing journey. The podcast is going to be open to everybody because that's how we want to keep
You want it,
informing
yeah,
people about what it is that we're doing. So that just means they'll see more of me. They'll get to hear more about my own healing journey as I encourage other people to join in this idea of wellness. As most people know, I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, but I'm also a PhD,
mhm,
been married 30 years and don't have some of the traditional markers of what we think people end up when they have these experiences. And so
right,
I bring a lot to this idea of wellness. I'm not coming from this position of I'm a psychologist, therefore I know. No, I'm coming from a position of I've been in some dark spaces too.
yeah,
And so I know.
yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
absolutely.
wow, I love it. So everybody needs to get on the healing challenge.
Get
That's
on the
that's
healing
get
challenge
on the healing challenge.
2022.
Yes.
Yes, get on the challenge. It's gonna, and I'm telling you, people. When I started living openly
Mhm,
as a survivor, I was
mhm,
in my mid 40s,
mhm.
and one of the reasons I started living openly is because, for real, even as a psychologist, I did not know the numbers. I did
Right.
not know at that time that there were 40 million. Now there's 60 million. I did not know that there were 40 million adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. I did not know that
Wow.
number. And when I found that, like, something clicked for me. It was like, are you kidding? Like, how do you hide 40 million people? Right? Like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
How do you hide 40 million people? And that's
Wow.
why I began living openly, because I'm like, no, this can't exist in the world. We can't keep
Mhm.
hiding millions of people's experience while we're talking about don't tell, and this isn't what we do as Black people, and or no, you're gonna ruin the family. And like 40 million people.
40 million.
You're not
Wow.
alone. But why do you feel alone when there are 40 million people who have a similar experience to you? We should
You
not feel
shouldn't.
alone.
You
Now we
shouldn't.
can take out, we can talk, we can do the same thing. We talk about domestic violence. We can
Mhm.
do the same thing if we talk about mental illness. You know what I mean? People who are on prescriptions for some sort of mental health condition, but
Uh,
there's so much shame in talking about it. People feel so alone. And I'm not saying that everybody has to come out and wave a flag, but what I am saying is that we get to support and hold space for one another in our fullness with
yes.
whatever it is that we are addressing. We don't have, it's rare that I come out and talk about what my actual experiences are as a survivor, but I can come out and say I'm a survivor. I have these triggers. I have had these experiences, and what that exact experience has been is nobody's business. They can read the book. There is a book about it, but
Mhm.
that's not what the conversation is about. The conversation is about healing and the wellness that can happen following these adverse experiences that take you out of your and away from your most beautiful authentic self. What I can
Right.
say for sure is every day I'm learning and growing more and more into my most beautiful authentic self, because I am committed to this lifelong healing journey. It
Wow.
hurts way less now than it
Mm-hmm.
did 10 years ago when I was on it. There's still
Wow.
not an ED on the end of that heel.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that I enjoy my life and I live it unashamed.
Yes, I read that you do martial arts,
Yes.
and yeah, I was like, what?
Yes, I love it. I love it. A whole new world opens up to you when you no longer have to hide.
Yes, yes. It's freeing.
It's
That's true
freeing.
freedom.
It's
Yeah.
freeing. Yes, you find your power in the world when
Yes.
you no longer have to shrink.
So tell everybody again, how can they find you? And I posted your website. I'm going to post a link to your book. I'll
Thank
post a link
you.
to both the books, The Healing Journey and
Too Much
um,
Love is
Too
Not
Much
Enough
Love Is
is my
Not Enough.
memoir of living in silence as a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Yeah,
Yes.
40 years I lived in silence. 40 years. It's an interesting
Wow.
read. It's an
Yes.
interesting read because I
And
thought I was alone.
yep. Oh, and you weren't.
I was
For
not.
40 million.
I was not. I was not. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
It was
you for
wonderful.
what you do.
You really opened my mind about a lot of things, or educated me. I especially loved um, your pointers for picking a mate for young people. I'm not a young person anymore, but I'm still thinking.
Thank you.
Oh,
I love
and
what you do.
thank
It's so
you.
important. It's so
Thank
important.
you. Thank you. We're trying to get it out there because we want, just like you, we want everybody to be happy and healthy. That's true
Yes.
freedom. That's true
Yes.
freedom.
And we
So
need to come at it consistently
yes,
from all angles. This is not something that we can afford to be territorial about or who
mm-mm.
like no, we have to support everybody who's trying to bring wellness into the
Yes,
world.
yes.
Yep. So
So
anytime, anytime.
yes, we have the next issue that's coming out is coming out in December, and we're dedicating it to Indigenous people in
Oh,
America.
wonderful.
Yeah, so we are looking to address topics such as this. There's a lot of things that happen on reservations that
I know.
people don't know about.
Yep.
Also, there's a lot of things that happen, like the missing and murdered Native women. You don't hear about that. You
No.
don't.
It's
You just get
terrible.
little glimpses, and then life goes on.
Yep.
Nobody
It's
really,
terrible.
yeah, nobody really truly addresses what's going on in the Native community. To this day, I think that Native people and African American people are constantly trying to be blocked in the media.
Yeah.
They don't really want to talk about us too much, not in a
Yeah.
positive light. So
Yeah.
we want to
Ha-
bring to light
have you
all of us.
interviewed anyone yet?
Not yet.
I have
I
a couple of names for you.
do
I have a
you?
couple of
Thank
names for
you.
you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need that because I would love to. I really want to get that out. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about. I did live
Yeah.
on a reservation for quite a number of years, but I don't want to put my friends on the spot. I want I don't want to drag them up here. I want people who actually want to come up and talk, who are ready to talk about it, because not everybody's ready to talk.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't want to
Yeah. No,
drag them.
I have a couple of names for you
Okay.
that run organizations that
Oh, that'd
support
be wonderful. That'd
Native
be
people.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank
hmm
you.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be my pleasure. I would love that.
Oh, that'd be great. So are you going to be in our next issue? We would love to hear about the healing
I
challenge.
would love that. Yes.
Yes.
You want me to
If
write
you
an
can,
article? What do
yes,
you need from me?
please. Just
Okay.
an
Absolutely.
article, your beautiful face, and the book cover and the link.
When will this come out? Are we live today?
This
Is
is
it
live
live
today.
now?
This is live
Okay,
now. Yeah.
okay. Can I make an announcement?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So this is so important. I'm so excited. I am turning 59 on the 14th. I'm turning
Wonderful.
59.
I'm
I'm
gonna
having
network it.
everyone, like everyone is invited to my birthday party. I'm having a virtual
Oh,
birthday party. I want everyone to be there. If you look on Facebook, you'll find an invitation. I'll try and share it today so that it's on my page.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and if you can find it, if you can post it, that'd be great. But I'm
I think I
having a
signed up.
virtual. What's
I think
that?
I did sign up. I saw it and
Oh,
I
good.
signed
Yes.
up.
Yeah, we can post it. I want everyone to come to my 59th birthday party, because what I'm gonna do, I am trying to usher in all the positive. Like I want to hit 60 off and running. Like,
Right.
like, like I want to turn 60 seriously being my very best physical, mental, spiritual self. That's
You are
my
my role
goal.
model.
So
You my role
so
model.
this last year, seriously, I'm turning up. I'm
Yes.
turning up, y'all. And I really want people who want to age gracefully
Mm-hmm.
to really take this journey. That's another reason why this healing challenge is so important to me. It just happened to correspond. I want people to really invest
Right.
in becoming their best selves, especially those of us who are aging and have spent so much of our lives shrinking to fit in.
Right.
Right. And I've spent a whole lot of my life doing that. Despite a lot, if you notice, a lot of the accomplishments that I that I have are individualized. Like,
Wow. Yes.
because you could do a lot of things in hiding. You can get degrees
That's
and black
true.
belts and all this stuff hiding, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not hiding anymore. Like, I'm done.
Mhm.
I'm done hiding and shrinking and holding secrets from people. I'm done with all that. I'm done. So I'm telling you. So 69, 59 to 60, I am turning up. You will see me. You'll be like, oh, she is not hiding anymore. No, no, no. Diana
Yeah.
Ross, I'm coming out for real. So I really want people to come party with me on November 14th
Okay.
at 2 o'clock on Zoom, but you have to register because there's been some funky stuff happening
Right.
in those platforms. So you have to register to keep the platform safe.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
that's the whole purpose of registering. So we don't
I
have
think
people
I
in
just
there
did
who
it
have never done that.
on the Facebook thing. So I have to go to probably follow a link and register. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, because it's just some nasty people out there that
Yeah.
have unhealed hearts and don't know how to relate to people. So that's
Yeah.
the whole point of that. But yes, so if people can come join me and party with me on Sunday,
Okay.
November 14th at 2 o'clock Eastern time, I would
Nice.
love to see as many faces as possible.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for being on our show, on our new show.
Thank
We
you.
look forward
Thank
to your
you.
article. And then yes, yes, I'm looking for a lot of people who can come forward and speak about Native America.
All right. All right. I'll have them connect with you. I don't know. Do I have your email? I'm sure I do. I
I'm gonna
will
send
give.
it to you. I'll send it to
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I would love to support you in that. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's
Thank
fantastic.
you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Enjoy. This has
You
been a lot
too.
of. It's always fun. It's always fun connecting with you. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right. You're welcome. Bye
All
bye.
right. Have a blessed day.
Bye everybody.